Welcome to Present Poetry, a podcast where we sit back, relax, and enjoy some poets of the past and present. I'm your host, Erin Crittenden, and before we get started on this week's episode, I want to remind you that all of the material used in this podcast is either public domain or used with permission from the author or the author's estate. It's a fun time for all ages, so sit back, relax, and get ready to hear this week's featured poet. This week's featured poet is Liam McAlpin. Liam McAlpin is a senior at Northeastern State University, majoring in Cherokee Language Education and minoring in creative writing. He likes writing short fiction and poetry, and one day hopes to finish his novel. We are reading a few of those poems, which he submitted to us through the form at presentpoetry.com. This poem is called Juniper Eyes. I walked along the riverbed, picking through shells and stones, sifting the thronging through my head, picking fat from bones. And as I paced the river shore, licking anxiousness from lips, from the green ebbing surface tore flowing hands in stream grips. She was graceful with care, and with streaming rills her body it cried. Around was this ethereal air. I was enthralled with she, juniper-eyed. She walked forward from droplet pool, mingling spring hand on my waning arm. Mine still fearful, I felt a fool, but her juniper eyes meant no harm. Her body wept with refracting light, beaming with deepest greens and blue, but I noticed in her hands a blight. I asked, "What have we done to you?" She smiled from her wept head. Despite my now woeful moan, from behind her in riverbed was the sludge of serpent bone. From her hands I saw the bane of the burning coals branded into tide, and felt body waltz and wane, eroding like corroding mountainside. Her hands caught me like silky ebb, as my entirety broke like flint. Her hands caressed like algae web, on the shore my mind began to splint. I held no hate, no deed of malcontent, for it was my own who poisoned stream. Like tumbling weed, I felt no resentment, as I melted into boiling dream. There on the riverbed, my awareness crumbled with the stones. As she caressed my head, I eroded with time, crumpled bones. And it was there in vast haze, far away from the wide wisping skies, that I held my one last gaze at the woman with juniper eyes. This poem is called Bluejay in the Cedar, and it was originally written in Cherokee, but translated for this podcast. Bluejay, bluejay, in the tree, why don't you sing? Bluejay, bluejay, in the cedar, why don't you fly? Bluejay, bluejay, in the tree, where are your two children? Bluejay, bluejay, in the cedar, what did you lose? This poem is called Place of Transition. Mold lines on the shower side. This is a place of movement. Gaps between floor and pavement. Tiny webs where spiders hide. A yellow sink with gutter tears. This is a place of distillery. Who washed here before is a mystery, but the one now mutters and stares at smudge prints on an aching mirror. This is a place of distorted vision. Listen to reverberated repetition of self-loathers who stared in fear. Cream-colored walls, like tan band-aids. This is a place painted over stains. There are still watermarks from inside rains that attempted to clean unkempt braids. A flickering light of bleached spark. This is a place of disassociation. The tempo pace of revelation, tempered by the hovering moth bark. Cold lives in the showered tide. This is a place of transition. In steamy closet I see apparition, where a former tenant cried. This poem is called Roadkill's Curse. In a moment of post-adolescent and pre-adult maturity, I hit an armadillo crossing the road. It was 3:13, and while I climbed my father's van up a hill, the post-midnight shell ᏱᎬᎦᎢᎦ crossed my path. I swerved my dad's vehicle in anguished attempt and avoidance, but a back tire bumped with sudden cadence. I should have stopped, but my midnight mind was confused. An unwilling, shaking convulsion, I drove. It was Independence Day Eve, and in a company were the fireworks. Harmless thunderbolts berated the heavens, while harassing forest life. I spent the day working, facing tobacco clouds, spinal wasp stings, and Oklahoma humidity. As I trekked through sultry, stifling night, images of shell-shocked armadillo mothers flood my mind. Perhaps a mother lived and raised her young, teaching them to fear and beware of that black tar that now marks her shell. I hope it lived, but as my father's van moves through midsummer mug, my chest aches and wanes with midnight guilt and devil's hour dejection. I wonder of possibilities and probabilities. I question if I had been faster, more precise, more adept. As I arrive home, I clean myself and attempt to rinse and still. My hands ache and stain. They are crusted with molten black Rhodes tar. I take 2 tablets of melatonin and lay myself in bed, and soon slip and slide into my eyelids' darkness. In dreams, my wrist's flesh sits agape. I miss a piece of once was, once will, or once is. I leave ground-up nicotine leaf and sweet plains grass, yet I don't know if this midnight's ghost has arrived. Perhaps tonight it will arrive, bringing marks of tar, blood, and broken shells. Or perhaps it lay in its burrow, asleep beside its children. This poem is called Explosions in My Chest. A solemn and muted street, sad and somber, I march with the tempo of feet. Eat, work, sleep, repeat. Eat, work, sleep, repeat. Consume, produce, slumber. Consume, produce, slumber again. Colors, gray, navy blue, gray. Navy blue, gray, navy blue. Melancholic apathy. Apathetic melancholy. Control C. Control V. Consume, sleep again. Melancholy, melancholic. Apathy is so apathetic. Produce gray melancholy. Control C, Control V. Work gray apathy. The madness of the routine beckons. Kafka grimaces in his grave, lost in a line of moths, taking turns burning alive. I begin to get closer to the light, but from my chest I hear a sound, ticking from behind my ribs resound, and I see 10 seconds remain. I suddenly remember why I came. 10, I smile for the first time in a while. 9, I step towards the gray light. 8, I hear the timer ticking. I hear it. 7, the tempo. I hear its harmony. 6, I stop pacing and I turn around. 5, I see the guards as navy and gray surround. 4, they grab me, but it's far too late. 3, there is a bomb in my chest about to detonate. 2, I smile, turn, then happily wink. 1 second left. colors appear in a blink. An eruption shatters my chest. Colors fill the air, sounds fill the sky. Like a giant flying serpent of turquoise, pink, yellow, orange, magenta, green, and yes, still navy blue, fill the streets, breathing fires of creativity that taste, create, and dream, that savor, innovate, and project. Throw away the keyboards, throw away the controllers. Let the light of the sun, moons, thousands of stars, and millions of people shine. Control, Alt, Delete. We are not Control-V. We choose our own keys. We free our own locks, and we brush them, or buzz them, or however we please. There need be no tempo, no rules or regulations. In the end, we need not discuss the speculations. We are I, and together are we. I'd rather be a we of eyes, tasting and savoring, creating and innovating, dreaming and prospecting, than an eye of we's, eating and consuming, and sleeping and slumbering, in repetition eternally. Sound is rising, and paint is spraying, strings, paint, chrysalises, eyes, spices, love, pain, blood, wine, water, tears, emotions, waterfalls, deserts, oasis, flowers, weeds, dreams, lives, explosions. There is an explosion in my chest, waiting to be detonated. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Present Poetry Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to like us, leave a review, or share us on social media. If you are a poet or you know someone who is, we would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us or submit your work through our website, which is www.present-poetry.com. Again, that is www.present-poetry.com. We can't wait to hear from you.